Good morning, everyone. I hope that you're all doing great today. And I'm pleased to introduce Mauritius, a gateway to East Africa, with our great panelist, Julien Warlouze, who's part of Ernest Young Parthenon, Edouard de Montalivet, the rep in Paris of the Mauritius Commercial Bank, and Vincent Labauve, CEO of Précigraph, but also the vice president of the Association of Mauritius Manufacturers. And finally, my good friend, Amyn, MUSSA, who's going to moderate this panel, a senior partner at AGORA in Nairobi, Kenya.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this session. The topic today is Mauritius, the gateway to East Africa and Africa. My name is Amyn MUSSA. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a projects and infrastructure lawyer that does renewable energy, ports, terminals, digital infrastructure across the region. I'm delighted to have an excellent panel, all from Mauritius, so they will be able to speak about how Mauritius is developing as the hub for Eastern Africa and for Africa as a whole. I'd ask each of them, Edouard, Julien, and if you could just please take a minute to introduce yourselves, and then we can start with the conversation. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Pleased to be with you today. I'm Vincent de Labauve d'Arifat. As it's written there, I'm the CEO of Précigraph, which is a family business in the printing and packaging industry. But I'm not here because of that. I'm here because I was the president of the Association of Mauritian Manufacturers, representing all the manufacturing sector in Mauritius. I was also, before that, the president of the Mauritius Employers Federation, which is the counterpart of the MEDEF in France. So I'm very pleased to be here with you and to talk about Mauritius. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so I'm Edouard. I'm working for MCB, Mauritius Commercial Bank. MCB is the largest bank in Mauritius, and we are very much involved in Africa. We propose different kind of services, banking services, project finance, renewable energy, oil and gas, private banking, advisory as well, FX, treasury, so all kind of banking activities that you can find with a normal bank. And the main point about MCB is that we are investment grade by Moody's, so definitely we are a key bank in the region.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Julien Warlouze, so I am the Associate Director for EY Parthenon, Africa. I'm in charge of development of all the growth strategy practice for all the African continent, so as well the Francophone and Anglophone part of the country. And the office is based in Mauritius. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. So let's start with the banker in the room, Edouard. You've told us that MCB is involved in financing a lot of projects on the continent. Two questions. Number one, when you're doing these corporate finance, project finance transactions on the continent, what are the challenges you find in structuring bankable transactions? Number one. And number two, how do you see a Mauritius structure helping with the financing of such transactions on the continent?
Yes, you're right. Like in every country, you find some issues and you have to discover a new ground, a new playground, and you have new rules or rules that you discover when you arrive in those countries. So definitely in Africa, in some cases, you can have political issues, you can have a lack of stability, you can have a governance issue, compliance issue. On the banking side, you can have also some difficulties to convert local currencies to hard currencies. And after, if the issues are more complex or complicated, you can have some trials, and you have definitely a length in process that it can last forever. And so all those challenges, you can put them aside if you create your holding, for example, in Mauritius. In Mauritius, you can have the stability, political stability, social stability. You have some non-double taxation treaties that have been signed between African countries and Mauritius. You have also IPPA signed with African countries, and those IPPAs are contracts signed between Mauritius and countries that avoid you to lose your business in the country where you are financing your project. So it's definitely a key thing to think about when you want to create a holding in Africa. And Mauritius is definitely a good place to set up your holding for all those reasons. And even if you want to find some, I would say, international debt in euros and dollars, it's easier to do it in Mauritius as well. If you are looking for equity investors, they can be based in Mauritius. If you are talking about DFI, they are all very familiar with Mauritius because, first of all, the country is also investment grade. And after, you have all this stability around Mauritius that allows you to create a good financing and to secure your business for the future.
And just to add to that, because one of the challenges that we find in a number of countries on the continent is a lack of foreign exchange, euros, US dollars, to be able to do these projects. And so, whilst you may be able to source local currency financing, or if you need payments from government, you're able to get payments in from government in local currency. Obviously, being able to repatriate in foreign currency becomes a challenge. How are you able and Mauritius able to assist with that problem?
Yeah, so mainly sometimes you have what we call cash traps in Africa, and it's very difficult to bring back your money to your head office, either in Europe or elsewhere on the planet. So that's why when you have your holding in Mauritius and all your investments are in Mauritius, you can bring up your dividends up to Mauritius, and after you can send your money everywhere from Mauritius, everywhere in the world. There is no problem of liquidity in Mauritius, so you can repatriate your funds. So that's why we are asking for our clients to create this holding in Mauritius, and after we can finance them in euros or in dollars directly, and like that they don't have this matchmaking FX matchmaking in currencies in the country.
Moving from banking to manufacturing, Vincent, you are involved in manufacturing. You represent the Manufacturing Association in Mauritius, as you said. It would be useful to understand for investors that want to develop manufacturing in Africa, to understand, firstly, what does it mean to set up manufacturing operations in Mauritius for sale and consumption on the continent in Africa versus setting up operational manufacturing entities directly on the continent? How would you compare that? And what do you see the pluses and minuses of those two approaches?
Okay, thank you, Amyn. It's clear that Mauritius has some advantages, as was mentioned by Edouard, concerning the non-double taxation agreements that we have with different African countries, but also with France, for example, and other European countries. We have exclusive access or preferential access to some markets. And we have a well-educated workforce mostly bilingual, and we have a fairly stable economy, stable democracy. Our judiciary is independent, and we have obviously the lifestyle in Mauritius. I can see we meet people from all over the world coming to settle in Mauritius to enjoy the lifestyle and work mostly in services. Now, manufacturing, maybe we should do some history of the manufacturing industry in Mauritius. Until our independence in 1968, there was only the sugarcane as manufacturing. And then the government introduced high import duties and import substitution scheme. So Mauritian entrepreneurs started to set up manufacturing facilities in Mauritius, either partnering with international brands to produce locally to their standard, or I would say importing expertise to set up the different manufacturing facilities in Mauritius. Then, over the years, so there was a very wide base of manufacturing in Mauritius. Over the years, with a new trend of trade liberalization earlier in this century, government started to reduce all those import duties, and a lot of manufacturing companies, when not strong enough, closed down. So those who are left today are those who've been able to stay alive, facing international competition in terms of quality of products, in terms of adaptability to the market, and due to the size of our market, being able to produce at a competitive price in small volumes. So the manufacturing in Mauritius is characterized by a high quality, low volume, and a competitive price. Obviously, the manufacturing sector is, we have some which are 100% export-oriented, like some textiles, very specialized, highly robotized manufacturing facilities. We have some others like medical instruments with high value addition. And then there are others, a large sector with who can, I would say, export about 30 to 40%, from 10 to 50% of their exports. Be it in chemistry, for example, in the paint industry, there's a paint company in Mauritius who is producing under license for a French company all their specialized paint to be sold in France. But due to the quality of their manufacturing facilities, they can produce this small volume at a competitive price. So this is the manufacturing industry as we can see it. So basically the DNA of the Mauritian manufacturing company is one that can produce a high quality at a decent price for niche markets. Obviously, there are some challenges when we are producing in Mauritius. And I would say that the biggest challenge is the port. Our port used to be the leader in the region about 10, 15 years back with major shipping lines using Port Louis as a hub. Today, we've lost this leadership. But the government, the newly elected government, has a clear mandate to place our port at the forefront as a competitive sector. So they have short-term plans, medium-term plans, and long-term plans. So hopefully, in the coming years, will be a leading port with links to the region. So if I would say producing in Mauritius would be high value addition, like medical devices and other jewelry, that can be exported primarily by air, or if you have bigger volumes, that will have the lead time to reach the African market. Do you want me to get on immediately on the on the setting up in Africa, or should we come back?
Yeah, let's get to that afterwards.
Okay, right.
Julien, you advise a number of corporates that are looking at Mauritius as a strategic platform and a strategic hub. How do you go about advising them to take advantage of what we've just heard about Mauritius as this hub and platform, and maybe you can expand on why it makes sense for having Mauritius as that strategic hub or platform for your businesses into Africa and East Africa in particular?
Thank you for the question. So, no, first, I joined Mauritius in January, so I'm still a new Mauritian beginner. But I met with a lot of local company, and what I can say now is I think one really interesting findings we need to understand is yes, Mauritius is a small place, but it's a multicultural place, and basically we have a francophone, anglophone, and we have people who speak Hindi, and there is a natural connection with a lot of places, not only in Africa, but with India, with China. And the connection is very, very easy. So that's the reason why I love this term of platform, because if you consider entry in Mauritius just for developing your business in Mauritius, I think it's not enough. You need to consider Mauritius like a first step for entry in the African continent. Why? Because finally Mauritius is a very stable, very transparent, very credible country locally. There is a regulatory system which is very strong, compared to other places in the region. We have, for example, what's interesting, you spoke about DTAs. Yes, Mauritius today signed more than 40 double taxation agreements, mostly in Africa, but as well in Europe and elsewhere. So that's very interesting and give more predictable information on the taxation. So. Another interesting point with Mauritius is there is a professional and financial bench of people already set up locally. So like insurer, banker, we have a P firm, we have so many professionals who can help to leverage on Mauritius to develop in the region. So I think yes, for a reason like fact, maybe you know the different African agreement, like the SADC, like the COMESA, like the FTSA. They will give more comfort to international company who decide to set up and to leverage the Mauritius to develop the business in the region. If, of course, maybe they create more than 35% of the value in Mauritius. So, yeah, that's definitely a good point.
And I guess just for the benefit of specifically the French corporates, you talked about the obvious benefit for India, China, etc., using Mauritius, but specifically for French corporates who are looking to come onto the continent, what's the added sauce, shall we say, or the added benefit of using Mauritius as that platform?
No, when I was speaking about China or India, it was like for Africa, I mean, for French company, they can use Mauritius to entry in Africa, but also to work with India or China.
Okay.
Okay. Regarding the French, there is definitely a common DNA between France and Mauritius. There is an history. There is a very long, a long history between the two areas. So, yeah, that's easy for French company to use this platform because we know that's for most of the French company doing business at the global stage. Mostly of the time, it's guided by the language, you know. So that's the reason why Mauritius could be a nice to have.
Edouard, in recent times, especially in the last 5 to 7 years, we've actually seen what we call Mauritian conglomerates and financial institutions who have done very well in Mauritius move onto the continent, starting with typically Eastern Africa, IBL, MCB, ER group over here. So can you explain why we are seeing that trend and what is the attractiveness for the Mauritian conglomerates and financial institutions making the move on the ground on the African continent and especially in Eastern Africa?
Yeah, so definitely, for example, when you take IBL, CL, or MCB, the issue was that Mauritius is a small island, so a small market. So definitely, when you are looking for growth, you have to go outside of your home country. And East Africa is very close, so this is where different actors are going there to find this growth. And I think that for next year, East Africa, the growth rate is at 5.6%. So definitely, you can have some new market openings on those countries. So if you take, for example, IBL, they invested in Equator Energy, for example, with STOA, the Impact Fund. And when you take Ciel, well, they are very much involved into the health sectors in Uganda, Kenya, and I think they are developing other countries as well. And on our side, MCB, we have for the time being a rep office, and where we provide definitely all the banking activities that requires all those conglomerates to follow and support their growth on those countries. But we try to support as well local corporates in the Eastern African region. So definitely, why they are going there is just to find the growth and to develop their activities elsewhere. And well, they try to externalize a little bit their activities and find new activities to develop themselves.
Vincent, going back to you on the manufacturing side in relation to what's happening on the continent, I think you explained about how Mauritius serves as a manufacturing hub for the continent and for Europe and Asia. In terms of whether it's Mauritian corporates or French corporates thinking about Africa as the operation hub for on-the-ground activities, what do you see as the pluses and minuses in setting up operations like that?
I will start by an evidence. We have to remember that Mauritius is part of Africa. It's not sort of Mauritius and Africa. We are Africans. But we are a special type of Africans. We are Africans, as Julien explained earlier, of different origins. We have cultural ties to Europe, to Asia, and to Africa. So we were born in that, we've grown, we've worked in a multicultural society. So we can adapt and respect the different cultures. And so I think this is an asset of the Mauritian entrepreneur. I will talk maybe, I will give some examples of what the investments of Mauritian corporates in Africa. For example, I start with Ciel in the sugar milling, made an investment with Tereos, which is a big French corporate, in Tanzania at TPC. IBL, we've talked about them, and I have a few examples of them. Similarly, in sugar milling in Transmara in Kenya. We have the IBL again, no, Eclosia Group, which is an expert in the aviary, I would say aviary sector. I'm not sure how do we say that in English, but poultry or whatever, where they start with grandparents, chicks, breeding and processing the chicken up to the market, including the animal feed sector. So it's a completely vertically integrated process that they've developed in Mauritius. They've set up a similar process, training farmers in Madagascar, in Kenya, and now I think in Rwanda they are coming up with that. So it's really creating value with local partners and creating value in the country. There is IBL, who has an experience in the rendering of waste from the tuna canning. They set up a company in, I think, Côte d'Ivoire, where they render the fishing waste into pet food and raw materials for the cosmetics industry. So I think that there's also a small company, I wanted to talk about that. A small company doing growing bioagriculture, who has set up with local partners in Rwanda to produce vegetables to be exported to Europe. So I must say that being Africans, we can go into some countries where maybe others might not be as welcome. So I think that's a big asset, plus all the political, what we've all said about the country itself. So I think definitely have your headquarters in Mauritius, and maybe bring in some Mauritian expertise to help you adapt to that country.
Thank you. Julien, one of the things we've discussed is Mauritius's big advantage as a financial center for Africa, for Asia, for Europe. There are a number of cities, especially in Eastern Africa, Nairobi, Kigali, that are looking to develop their own financial centers. I guess two things for you. Number one is, what are the lessons that can be learned from the success of Mauritius in developing financial cities in places like Nairobi and Kigali? And number two, would the development of such financial centers help, or will it be a competitive threat to Mauritius's current advantage?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I had the I had the opportunity to work on the KFC recently, so Kigali International Financial Center, and yes, that was very interesting. To answer to your first question, I think build trust takes time, and that's definitely the case. So the IFC, Mauritius IFC, I think is 30 years old, okay? Compared to KFC, just 5 years old. So it takes time, and I would say, I think the Mauritian IFC is today is very, or builds a credible and transparent system. And obviously it takes time to build that. Then you need to build a very strong ecosystem. You need to partner with a lot of international institutions to sell your products. because finally IFC is just a product amongst others. So you need to market your offer. I would say you need to diversify what you offer. I think today there is, I think it's 35 or 40 IFC in the world, and all of them have a positioning, have a niche, are on the niche market. So today, for Mauritius, the niche is probably going through the green financing. Okay, and I know for Kigali that's the same. But yeah, the differentiation of your product is very helpful if you want to market your offer amongst all the international places like North America, Europe, Asia, because you need to bring money locally, so you need to be very visible. I think another thing is probably I would say the skills of the platform. You need to attract talents, and I think that's one of the most critical things, and that's exactly where probably Nairobi and Kigali need to work in, is to have a good level of training and a good level of attractiveness to interest people to join the country and to work for the local IFC, and just to give more comfort to the international investors.
Thank you. Question, can we have questions from, or are we done? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for that. We've unfortunately run out of time. I want to thank all of you for listening to this excellent conversation, and more importantly, I want to thank these great panelists for a wonderful job. Thank you very much.